Should you play FBC Firebreak? Well, let's find out in this video. What is FBC Firebreak? That's honestly a good question. I was very confused as to what this game was, I can do you a brief introduction. FBC Firebreak is a game where it's a multiplayer game. You play with 3 people. There's about 5 maps at the moment. Yes, 5 maps. And you walk around the map. You fix things where they need to be fixed. Sometimes there's like button inputs you have to put in. Or if you have the correct repair tool, you can just whack it with that or power it up. You don't have to do the button inputs. You repair a bunch of things. You keep following the objective, which is usually go here, repair this, go there, repair that, go there, repair that. And then at the end, there's some main thing that you have to do that is usually a bit different. Sometimes it's not always about repairing stuff, depending on the mission that you choose. I'm just talking about the first mission, which is mostly repair, and then there's something different at the end to do. But I'll talk about that in a bit. As for the performance of the game, well, I had no problems here. There were no bugs. Load times were pretty good. The matchmaking was good. Surprisingly, I was surprised I could find players within an instant. I actually didn't think that a lot of people were going to be playing this game. But things like loading into the game, things like that was fine. There were no bugs, there were no glitches, performance was fine. As for the graphics, they're nothing amazing, I'll be honest with you. They're nothing to write home about. Everything's got a kind of, not a cartoony feel, but it doesn't look hyper realistic or anything, but that's not really a problem. So let's talk about the gameplay. I already gave you a brief kind of overview of what you're doing in this game. Me and my friend, it was their idea. We decided to skip the tutorial, which is a really great idea because then for the first mission, we had no clue what we were doing. So I can't really bash the game for saying, oh, they didn't make it very clear what you're meant to be doing at the start. However, I have seen other people say, they had no clue what they were doing on that first mission. Occasionally there's a boss fight, but the game is, let's talk about difficulty now. The game is very, very easy. Don't get me wrong, I died a couple of times, but you'll see in the bottom left of this footage, there's a thing that says 7. Now, that is how many times you can revive. However, that fills up over time, I believe. So when you die, you can just respawn instantly, but you use one of these points. You can see in this footage, the person has 7 of these points. So yeah, they fill up over time. So occasionally I had to wait like a minute to respawn, but usually you can just kind of respawn instantly, so it really doesn't matter if you die. In terms of difficulty, a lot of this is dependent on the enemies that the game gives you. And my god, these enemies are the most stupid ass AI I have ever seen. Literally, I had times where, so you know how normally an enemy tracks onto a specific player, right? Well, the tracking of the AI in this game is so focused that I had a point where, and I don't have any footage of this unfortunately, but I was standing on a bit of a walkway and it was connecting the area that we were just in to the area we were next going in. And my friend was in the area that we were just in. He was making his way to where I was. And suddenly I looked round and a bunch of enemies were coming. So I was like, oh shit. And I started shooting them. I was expecting them to attack me. And I was thinking, okay, well, I'll die here, but I can respawn. These enemies ran straight past me, even though I was shooting at them. They didn't even attack me. And you know why? Because they decided they wanted to target my friend. How stupid is that? And if you're wondering, we played a lot of this on the normal difficulty, but we did try the hardest difficulty once, and it was harder. Okay, we did get our asses kicked. But up until the hardest difficulty, like even the difficulty before that, it's just so easy. If you want the game to be hard, you have to be playing on the hardest difficulty for it to be in any way hard. But the controls were alright, so there's that. You do have to do quite a lot of button inputs sometimes when you're fixing stuff. Okay, I've gone over the difficulty. What about the sound and the voice acting? My god. The voice acting is, I don't know if it's meant to be comedic, I think it is. All the characters sound like ducks. Like seriously, I was finding it hard to take this game seriously because the voice acting just sounds honestly stupid. I mean, it's not a huge problem, I don't really care. I'm just saying that if you want to take this game seriously, you just can't because these characters sound like dogs.
Hey, what's your shot? Win it!
Watch it.
I think that last clip was the best example there of how the characters just sound like dogs. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I think it probably is. But that's just what I thought. I thought that was a little bit stupid, but it doesn't really matter that much. But overall, the rest of the sound was pretty good. Now, before I go on to give my kind of score and recommendation, I wanted to say one other thing. This is kind of about the difficulty. There's one point in the first level, at the end of the first level, where there's this big fan that blows fire. And if you get caught on fire, okay, it's basically game over. There's not really much you can do about it, which is honestly, in my opinion, is really stupid. Like, you just die. Like, you're just dead if you get caught on fire. There is, like, you can get healed in the shower. Yes, I just said that. You go and take a shower to heal. You get your ammo back by, like, crafting it at benches. But you can go to the shower to heal, and it kind of removes the status effect, but I didn't realise that it was there at the start, so whenever I got caught on fire, I was just dead, like, pretty much instantly. So what would I rate this game out of 10? Honestly, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. This game is not, I mean, I'm lucky that I got it for free on PS Plus. This game is not worth, I think they're asking £35 for this. What the fuck? This game is not worth £35. Would I recommend it? No, I wouldn't. I got 2 hours of playtime out of this. I finished the whole thing on most of the time the normal difficulty. It wasn't even that hard on the hardest one. Well, it was actually harder on the hardest one. But I could have probably done it all on the second hardest difficulty. And it wasn't even harder on that difficulty. That much money for 2 hours of gameplay is honestly kind of pathetic if you ask me. So no, I don't think you should play this game. I don't think you should buy this game. If you enjoyed the video, if you found it useful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.